Hello, seniors! I'm glad that you are able to view this instructional video and that proves you are interested to learn research. May this video provide you with memorable learning as you go through Practical Research 1. Happy learning! Our lesson today, my dear senior students, is the characteristics, processes, and ethics of research. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to describe characteristics, processes, and ethics of research. This lesson is outlined as follows: characteristics of research, characteristics of a researcher, the 7 steps of the research process, ethics in research, rights of research participants or respondents, and ethical standards in research writing. According to Calmorin in 2012, a good research must have these 7 characteristics. A good research is empirical. Research is based on direct experience or observation by the researcher. It is based on practical experience without due regard to scientific knowledge or theory. 2. A good research is logical. Research is based on valid procedures and principles. Scientific study is done in an orderly manner. It is also a systematic examination of procedures to draw valid conclusions. 3. A good research is cyclical. Research is a cyclical process because it starts with a problem and ends with a problem. A researcher completes his study, stated his findings, draws conclusion and recommendation. In his recommendations, several studies may be conducted, hence research is cyclical. 4th, a good research is analytical. Research utilizes proven analytical procedures in gathering the data, whether historical, descriptive, and experimental and case study. The data gathered focus on the following: historical past, descriptive present, experimental future, and case study past, present, and future. 5th, a good research is critical. Research exhibits careful and precise judgment. It shows precise interpretation based on the results. 6th, a good research is methodical. Research is conducted in a methodical manner without bias, using systematic method and procedures. Again, it is without bias. Appropriate tests should be used. 7th, a good research possesses replicability. The research design and procedures are replicated or repeated to enable the researcher to arrive at valid and conclusive results. More replications mean more valid results. Replicability of the study means using the same instrument, methods, procedure, but to different subjects and venue or locale. The researcher must have specific intrinsic and acquired qualities to be able to carry out research activities. Lack of these traits hinders the pursuit of research or makes conduction of research slow and difficult. A good researcher possesses the following characteristics: intellectual curiosity, prudence, healthy criticism, intellectual honesty, and intellectual creativity. Intellectual curiosity. A good researcher undertakes and inquires of the things and situations around him. Deep thinking. Is keen to get information, raises questions, and continues to read related literature and studies. Prudence. Researcher is careful to conduct his study at the right time and at the right place, wisely, efficiently, and economically. Again, it does the right thing at the right time at the right place. Healthy criticism. A good researcher is always doubtful as to the truthfulness of the results. He doubts the authenticity or validity of the data and is open to criticism. Intellectual honesty. A good researcher is honest to collect or gather the data or facts in order to arrive at honest results. He adheres to honesty is the best policy and believes that success or failures lies on the researcher's hand. Intellectual creativity. A good researcher is productive and resourceful. He always creates new researches. He enjoys inventing unique, novel, and original researches and considers research as hobby. At this point, what are the 7 steps of the research process? Step 1. Define and develop your topic or research problem. All research sets in a research problem definitely. Factual ignorance may be the research problem. We would simply intend to enrich our knowledge of social processes or institutions. However, the research problems come up with the ongoing phenomenon or issues. One research project may significantly lead to another research work because it explores issues that the researcher did not think previously. Here are the factors to consider in selecting a research problem. 1. Researcher's area of interest. 2. Availability of funds. And 3. Investigator's ability and training. Step 2. Find background information about your chosen topic. Review of related literature. Once the research problem is defined, the next step is to review the existing research evidence to clarify that to study the available research resources related to the problem. For example, it may be the previous research that has already made a clear statement of the problem. The researcher takes into account how useful the previous research that exists. Did previous researchers investigate the same problem? How do they resolve it? What aspects of the problem has remained unsolved? Keep in mind that how richer your literature is, the better your research will be. Step 3. Plan your research design including your sample, or the research methodology. The researcher then must find out a research design. Research design decides how the research materials will be collected. One or more research methods, for example, experiment, survey, interview, etc., are chosen depending on the research objectives. In some research contexts, a survey may be suitable. In other facts, interviews or case studies or observation might be more appropriate. Research design actually provides insights into how to conduct research using a particular research methodology. Basically, every researcher has a list of research questions that need to be assessed that can be done with research design. Step 4. Gather necessary data using open-ended questions for qualitative research and close-ended questionnaire or paper-pencil test questionnaire for quantitative research or the data gathering activities. While the research design is decided, then the researcher collects data, records information. The researcher proceeds with the research. Practical difficulties may arise in this stage. For example, the research method may not suit properly. The interviewer might be unwilling to let carry out the research as planned. Moreover, a false interpretation could potentially bias the result of the study. So when you collect data, you need to know the effective techniques of data collection in order to gather necessary and relevant information with regard to research. Step 5. Process and analyze data using thematic analysis for qualitative research and statistical tools for quantitative research. Now work out the implications of the data you gathered. Your challenges are not over yet. Rather, problems might just begin. It is hardly easy to clear out the implications of the gathered materials. While it is possible to clarify the research questions, some investigations are less conclusive. So interpret your research results in order to report the findings. No matter what kind of research you are doing, there comes a moment when your head is full of ideas that originated from your analysis. Ideally, you write them down as they come to you. Now you need to convert the mass of those elements and ideas into a written text that makes sense to the reader and can do justice to your quest. Step 6. Formulate new insights gained for qualitative research, conclusions for quantitative research, and recommendations. The next step of the research process outline is to report the research findings. Describe the significance of the research study. Work out how do they relate to the previous research findings. Usually, the research report published as a journal, article, or book. This is the last stage in terms of the individual research project. Mostly, a research report discusses questions that remained unanswered and suggests further research in the future in general. This also signifies how do you write your research paper. You must write your research findings in a proper way. Step 7. Define new problem based on your recommendations. Moving on, ethics in research. Research ethics are guidelines for the responsible conduct of research which educates and monitors researchers to ensure high standard. It promotes the aim of research, such as expanding knowledge, and supports the values required for collaborative work, such as mutual respect and fairness. Research ethics are the set of ethical guidelines that guides us on how scientific research should be conducted and disseminated. Research ethics govern the standards of conduct for scientific researchers. It is the guideline for responsibly conducting the research. Here are the ethical considerations in conducting research. 1. Objectivity and integrity. 2. Respect of the research subject's right to privacy and dignity and protection of subjects from personal harm. 3. Presentation of research findings. 4. Misuse of research role. 5. Acknowledgement of research collaboration and assistance. And 6. Distortions of findings by sponsor. This time, let's tackle the ethical principles in the research. Informed consent. It is required to secure in order to protect the rights of the participants in your study. Inform your participants about the criteria set for choosing them as informants and the schedule of one-on-one interview at a convenient time they are available. Participation to the study will be completely voluntary. Honesty. It reports data, results, methods, and procedures and publication status. Do not fabricate, falsify, and misrepresent the data. 3. Objectivity. Avoid bias in experimental design, data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, personal decisions, grant writing, expert testimony, and other aspects of research. 4. Integrity. Keep your promises and agreements. Act with sincerity. Strive for consistency of thought and action. 5. Carefulness. Avoid careless errors and negligence. Carefully and critically examine your work and the work of peers. Keep good records of research activities. 6. Openness. Share data, results, ideas, tools, and resources, and be open to criticism and new ideas. Next is respect for intellectual property. Honor patents, copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, and other forms of intellectual property. Do not use published and unpublished data, methods, or results without permission, and give credit where credit is due. Never plagiarize, fabricate, and falsify. 8. Confidentiality. Protect confidential communication, such as papers or grants submitted for publication, personal records, trade or military secrets, and patient records. 9. Responsible mentoring. Help to educate, mentor, and advise others. Promote their welfare and allow them to make their own decisions. 10. Responsible publication. Publish in order to advance research and scholarship, not to advance your own career, and avoid wasteful and duplicative publication. Next, 11. Respect for colleagues. Respect your colleagues' opinion, treat them fairly, and do not outsmart others. 12. Social responsibility. Strive to promote social acceptance and prevent or mitigate social harms through research, public education, and advocacy. 13. Non-discrimination. Avoid discrimination against colleagues or students on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, or other factors that are not related to their scientific competence and integrity. 14. Competence. Maintain and improve your own professional competence and expertise through lifelong education and learning. Take steps to promote competence in science as a whole. Legality. Know and obey relevant laws and institutional and government policies. 16. Animal care. Show proper respect and care for animals when using them in research. Do not conduct unnecessary or poorly designed animal experiments. Human subjects protection. When conducting a research on human subjects, minimize harms and risks and maximize benefits. Respect to human dignity, privacy, and anonymity. Next, rights of research participants. First, human rights. They are moral principles or norms that describe certain standards of human behavior and are regularly protected as natural and legal rights. They constitute a set of rights and duties necessary for the protection of human dignity inherent to all human beings. Second is intellectual property. It protects creations of the mind which have both a moral and a commercial value. 3. Copyright infringement. It is the use or production of copyright-protected material without permission of the copyright holder. Copyright infringement means that the rights accorded to the copyright holder, such as the exclusive use of a work for a set period of time, are breached by a third party. Examples are downloading movies and music without proper payment for use, recording movies in a theater, using others' photographs for a blog without permission, copying software code without giving proper credit, and creating videos with unlicensed music clips. Fourth is voluntary participation. People must not be coerced into participating in research process. Essentially, this means that prospective research participants must be informed about the procedures and the risk involved in research and must give their consent to participate. Fifth, anonymity. It is the protection of people's identity through not disclosing their name or not exposing their identity. It is a situation in data gathering activities in which informant's name is not given nor known. 6. Privacy. It is someone's right to keep his personal matters and relationships secret. It is the ability of an individual to seclude him from disturbance of any research activity. Ethical standards in research writing. Research misconduct includes fabrication, falsification, or plagiarism. It doesn't include honest error of differences of opinion. It can erode trust between researchers and funding agencies, which make it more difficult for colleagues at the same institution to receive grants. The term plagiarism refers to the act of using another person's ideas, works, processes, and results without giving due credit. It should not be tolerated as the unauthorized use of original works, a violation of intellectual property rights. 3 different acts are considered plagiarism. 1. Failure to cite quotations and borrowed ideas. 2. Failure to enclose borrowed language in quotation marks. And 3. Failure to put summaries and paraphrases in your own words.